My job as a Peace Corps volunteer was to teach English as a second language in an Iranian high school on the border of Afghanistan, and we were very active. Had the kids stand up, moving around. What are you doing? Scratching my nose, scratching my head, looking up, looking down. Very active. And back in the faculty room, I never had the callous fingers to be able to hold the glass teacups. We did a whole show about that. But it was not a laughing matter back in the classroom where kids arriving late would be beaten. A year later, I was teaching in a Long Island high school, and some kids arrived late. Well, the first day of my teaching, I said, you know what we used to do to kids who arrived late in my old school? They got beaten on their hands. And the kids would say, well, why is that? Why is that? And I said, well, let's get through the lesson, and I'll tell you why. And the next class came, and they said, well, kids said you beat kids. I said, well, let's get through the lesson, and we'll tell you why. And that's the beginning of my telling stories about Iran, and I did it all throughout my teaching career. All these experiences. I had the kids pretend they were on an Iranian bus, and I gave out pistachios. And younger kids, we made a whole village, Iranian village, and everybody had a role in the village. We role played that. I taught all of my students how to play backgammon as a math enrichment activity. I learned it in the gardens back there, and the original backgammon set was found at an archaeology site near where I was living. And for Earth Day one year, I had the kids, out of recycled materials, make their own backgammon set. And then we practiced the Iranian system of poetry contest, kind of poetry slam. One kid would say a line from a poem, and then the other kid had to say a line from another part of the poem. We also practiced and introduced Nowruz. The Iranian kids that were in the class one year, they introduced to the rest of their students here. They're practicing. This is the table of all these spring things that were part of their tradition. And also part of the tradition we practice is jumping over a bonfire during Nowruz to get rid of the darkness of the old year and to welcome spring. So there's some of the things I basically was teaching. I taught in Iran, and then I taught for the rest of my life about Iran, which is part of the principle of bringing Iran, the place where you served the Peace Corps, back to America. Here's, by the way, what's in a Hafseen table for Nowruz, and look at these things. So yeah, I fulfilled the Peace Corps mission, bringing it back home, and enjoyed introducing all these Iranian things to my students, and helped survive in the classroom because kids said, you know, Mr. Hughes, that's the best part of the class, is you're telling the stories.